dedicating these great Eco Locomotives. We're very gratified to have two of our public partners here this morning as well, Governor Deal and Beverly Bannister with EPA Region 4. And I want to thank them personally for their leadership in supporting innovative public partnerships like this and making these kinds of things happen. And also for their capable leadership regarding improving air quality here in the Atlanta area. You'll also be hearing from the president of Progress Rail, Billy Ainsworth, whose team came up with the technology for these locomotives and worked tirelessly with our folks to get this project done. You know, Norfolk Southern and its predecessor companies have had a solid record of being environmentally responsible and doing the right thing. And we started our formal sustainability initiative in 2007 under the premise that it's the right thing for our company to conduct our business in accordance with sustainable practices that will help provide ongoing opportunities for our people, for our communities, for our customers, and for our investors. And we've made really good progress since that first year. We've been enhancing locomotives to increase fuel efficiency and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and improving rail corridors, the infrastructure on rail corridors. It helps create jobs and provides competitive transportation advantage. And we strengthened our own performance while providing benefits to the communities we serve. Among other milestones, we've adopted a carbon mitigation strategy through reforestation, and we've preserved endangered habitats and ecosystems. In the process, we've forged strong connections with communities and with business and environmental partners. Today's dedication is another important milestone in our ongoing sustainability journey. And here to tell you about it is our Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Mark Mannion. Himself a pretty sustainable guy, as he's just finished his 40th year here at Norfolk Southern. Let me turn it now over to Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Bruno, I think. Seriously, good morning, everyone, again, and welcome to Inman Yard. And I tell you what, it doesn't get any better than a backdrop of these beautiful locomotives, and, you know, we've even got a little bit of railroad background noise periodically as the locomotives go back and forth, so it's all good. Thanks for being with us to join us in this celebration of what we would call cleaner air. And today we do dedicate a new class of rail yard locomotives, and they've been developed to help us reduce emissions in urban areas. Now, I add my greetings as well in appreciation to Governor Nathan Deal. Governor, for your presence here today, thank you. And in a few minutes, you're going to hear from him. Also, we'll be hearing from Billy Ainsworth, and I call you Billy because we're old friends and we go back a long way. And we're glad to have Billy. Billy is president of Progress Rail Services, and as well, Beverly Bannister, division director of the Federal Environmental Protection Agency's Region 4, right? Region 4 here in Atlanta. So thanks for being with us, Beverly. And I don't want to leave people out, but I just want to say thank you to the many Norfolk Southern employees, many or most of whom I got to talk a little bit with, and thank you for all you do. What a great bunch of employees we have. We've got folks from various departments and crafts here, many of whom are from our mechanical, some from transportation, and thanks to all of you. And it's ones like yourselves and your comrades that make these kind of locomotives possible. So thanks for what you do. The cooperative leadership of private businesses and government agencies represented in this pavilion today enables achievement of projects that are good for business and improve the quality of our communities as well. These locomotives behind me, they represent one of the finest examples of collaboration between public and private partners to produce technology that sustains environmental health. I present to you the Eco class of locomotives. These locomotives operate cleanly. They conserve fuel. They are powerful 1,000 horsepower engines, and they are so efficient that when they're paired with a second engineless locomotive, they can replace two of our older, less efficient yard locomotives. Now, these locomotives adhere to the EPA's stringent Tier 3 emission standards for locomotives. For Atlanta and Georgia, that means respect for our green spaces and the quality of our air. The older locomotives that these locomotives are replacing, they actually comply with EPA standards, but the Eco Project locomotives, they extend the useful life of locomotives while at the same time upgrading to a much higher operating and environmental standard. So I'm proud to say that Norfolk Southern designed and built these special green locomotives at our locomotive shop at Juniata, Pennsylvania. We used EPA certified kits from Progress Rail's electromotive diesel. Thank you, Billy. Thanks to grants from the Federal Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program, that's a mouthful, or CMAQ as we call it, this yard will have 10 eco units this year. They will be paired up with 10 engineless locomotives. Altogether, they will account for 6.6 fewer tons of particulate matter, 14.7 fewer tons of hydrocarbons, and 155 fewer tons of nitrogen oxides, which are pollutants that are generally associated with smog and acid rain. Next year, an additional grant will support the delivery of more of these eco units to the Atlanta area. So, bottom line is cleaner air quality for residents of Atlanta and other Georgia cities. Additional CMAQ grants, which are already approved, will support future placement of eco locomotives at Norfolk Southern's rail yards in Macon, Georgia, as well as Rome, Georgia. So throughout Georgia, just Georgia, Norfolk Southern employs 4,735 people. We operate a network of 1,779 miles of rail in Georgia. Our company annually transports 1.3 million shipments by rail in the Peach State alone, totaling 55 million tons of freight for some 1,200 customers. Together with industrial development activity that brings new businesses, jobs, and investment to Georgia and services the state's ports, Norfolk Southern's rail network connects Georgia communities to the marketplaces around the whole world. To offer another perspective, in 2014, throughout our whole system, which represents 22 states, NS trains traveled 74.8 million miles. I am told that that's equal to 157 round trips to the moon. I'd like to take one of those trips. But seriously, let's drill back to Atlanta. These locomotives, they're going to be placed in service today. They're going to be put to heavy use. I've had 2 hours of watching them not doing anything. I'm about ready to get up there and start them up myself and get them dirty and get them going. But seriously, as you noticed when you were driving into Inman Yard today, you probably saw that this is just a major center for interstate commerce and intermodal transportation. Actually, NS operates 75 scheduled freight trains through Inman or the Atlanta area daily, plus numerous extra trains to haul various commodities vital to the people of Georgia and beyond. And, you know, if you think about it, throughout our network, whether we're talking about grain or coal or ethanol or vehicles or the many things that we haul, you name it, we haul it. And in addition to that, we do handle 2 Amtrak trains through Atlanta on a daily basis. You know, we also originate 16 intermodal trains right here in Atlanta daily. So That's why you saw, as you came into the yard, that's why you saw so many shipping containers. That's why you saw all the over-the-road trailers that you did. So the point is, we've got a lot of rail cars to move around here, and it's the job of these new locomotives behind me to make sure that they're all on the right track and in the right order for safe, efficient delivery to our customers. The more these locomotives are used, the greater the cumulative positive effect that we have on our air quality. Now, over the last 5 years, NS has made a concentrated effort to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions of our locomotive fleet. And in that period of time, through a variety of methods, we achieved an 8.5% reduction per revenue ton mile. Rollout of these eco units and others to follow, they demonstrate Norfolk Southern's continuing commitment to the industry, leadership in our sustainability best practices, and environmental partnerships. Our transportation operations here in Atlanta are central to serving customers throughout the network and beyond. We consider it our corporate responsibility to mitigate the environmental impact of our rail operations, and we thank the Georgia Department of Transportation and the Environmental Protection Division, the City of Atlanta, and other cities and customers all along our lines that partner with us to achieve this goal. Now, it is my pleasure to yield this microphone to our Governor of the State of Georgia, Nathan Deal. Please join me in welcoming Governor Deal.
Well, thank you very much. I am honored to be here today. I'm sorry I was running a few minutes late. I certainly don't like to make sure that I have a part in not keeping the trains running on schedule. So I'm sure you're back on track by now. This is a great day for Georgia. It's certainly a great day for Norfolk Southern. Let me tell you just in a very brief overview why this is so important. First of all, as was indicated earlier, this is a great example of a public-private partnership. It is an example on the public side of Norfolk Southern. On the public side of the federal government through their regulatory agencies and the state regulatory agencies, and on the private side, of course, Norfolk Southern. So this is a great example of that kind of partnership working to the benefit of all of us. The Norfolk Southern line is critical to our state. It, as I understand, it has about 20,000 rail miles across our country and into Canada, and is one of the leading providers of our infrastructure in Georgia. Let me tell you why it's important, because first of all, air quality is important to all of us, and keeping our air as clean as possible keeps us from having other regulatory requirements placed upon us, and thank you for your participation in that effort. I know that everyone at the federal and the state level appreciates that aspect of it. But let me tell you how important this is going to be in the future. As you may know, we have just recently celebrated the second announcement of an inland port in Georgia. We've already had one down in Cordele, which is a relatively short line from Cordele down to the port of Savannah. But most recently, we've announced an inland port that will be up in Murray County in the Chatsworth, Georgia area, which is right up on the state line. It will serve an area that is northwest Georgia, which is one of our really heavy manufacturing parts of our state. It will serve parts of Tennessee all the way into southern Kentucky and into Alabama. Now, what that will mean is that containers will be transported by truck to this inland port and then loaded on rail lines and transported to the port of Savannah. I am told that in the first year it will probably take about 50,000 transfer trucks off of our roadway system. And for those of you who are familiar with the problems of congestion on our roadways and safety on our interstates, to be able to put those containers onto railroad cars rather than having to transport them by a vehicle is going to improve things in a lot of different ways. So these energy efficient locomotives will not only see great use, I think they will see even greater use as we continue to see the Port of Savannah being willing to look at other parts of our state for more inland ports. So thank you to Norfolk Southern. We have been honored just this year, I'm told, of being the #1 state in terms of new jobs relating to the environment. And certainly with the addition of these locomotives, you will try to make sure that we're going to sustain that record for next year. It is a record that we're proud of. We're glad to have you in our state. We thank you for this new addition to cleaner transportation. Thank you.